Hello, my name is Donette, and now I'll be going over the Meaningful Use Stage 2 Core Objective Measure number 15. This particular measure actually is for us to provide summary of care record for each transition of care or referral that is done. Measure 1 of this core measure is the EPs who transition or refers their patient out to another setting of care or provider of care provides a summary of care record for more than 50% of the transitions of care and referrals. Measure number 2 says that the transition of referrals their patients to another setting of care or provider care provides a summary of care record for more than 10% of such transitions and referrals, either electronically transmitted or where the recipient receives a summary of care record via an exchange facility by an organization. Note on this is a provider must satisfy one of the criteria under the Measure 3 to meet the objective. Measure 3 only requires a yes or no answer. And of course, at this current time, we meet that. So we don't have to worry about that portion of it. But 1 and 2 happen to do with referrals and transition of care with these patients. Where do I get credit in NextGen? The referral must be created using the referral template. This referral can be given to the patient as an electronic or paper copy or sent directly to the receiving provider. And as you can see below here, inside of NextGen, the referrals template here, you can also go to the referrals template off of the navigation bar, and it does the exact same thing. But if it's the provider who's doing it, the provider will go into the referrals template under the SOAP, which is usually where he goes into chooses assessments and also put in his assessment and plan details. All right, where do I get credit in NextGen again? Now, what should happen is the referrals that you do or the transition of care that you are doing should be documented in the PHI log. We're very familiar with the PHI log. It's the patient health information log that we currently use for when patients are asking for medical records. What you have to do inside the PHI log is be sure to place a check in the transition of care box as well as a check inside of the summary of care box as well. And we're going to jump into the system now, and I'll show you exactly where the PHI log is located. There's 2 locations, but one that's more accessible and easier to get to than the other. All right. So we're going to hop into the system now. All right, so I have a test patient up already. If you're very familiar at this point, everyone should be with the patient information bar. With the patient information bar, you'll be able to access the PHI log right here, right next to the appointments. If you were to click on the PHI log, you will see here where if you have a patient open, usually you would have to have one open in order to have the patient information bar open. You would come here and then you'd come down to where it says add. That will open up your actual PHI log. Now, the top portion of it has to do with putting information out if a patient is requesting or there's a subpoena or some information having to do with that. But this middle section here is what we're talking about when we're saying you're going to do the date that you process that referral or transition, as well as putting a check here by transition of care and a check here by summary care record sent. Within the middle box here, there is an area if you want to go ahead on and add in where you're transitioning the patient to. And when we say that, you're admitting them to a hospital. If you discharge them from the hospital, if you're referring them to a specialist, you can choose one of those things right here. Or even if there's some other reason you're transitioning out of the office, then you can put that in the space here. Once you've completed that section, all you would do is come down and save and close. So this is where you would get the credit for transitioning those patients out of your office. There's another place where we used to go prior to this, before we had that information on the information bar. If you want to go this route, it's the longer route than what we use currently. But you can hop over onto the patient information bar, or the patient history bar, I'm sorry, and go to the patient demographics. If you scroll down to about, I'd say midway inside of the scroll bar, you'll see the PHI log right here under the pediatric chart summary. It's the same exact template, just in a different place. Some may remember it being here. Others are more familiar with it now because it's right in front of you where you can locate it. But this is exactly what you would use in order to get credit for that in NextGen. Once those referrals have been created and saved and closed into the template, then of course you have to go into the PHI log. Now, if you have any questions about the PHI log and how you would get credit, or any other questions for this particular core measure number 15, please send us a help desk ticket at help@tpmgpc.com, and we'll be sure to answer your questions. Thank you and have a great day.